Gundam.tk presents HGUC Banshee Destroy Mode. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2 R's 2 B's from GundamReviews.net, and I'm here to wrap up my look at the high-grade Universal Century, the RX-0 Unicorn Gundam, the number 2 machine, better known as the Banshee. Since this is mostly just a remold and recolor, don't forget that you can check out my review of the HGUC Destroy Mode Unicorn Gundam, where you can see all sorts of details about the parts, articulation, and everything else. So on to the new stuff, which as a bit of a bonus includes parts left over on the plates that you can use if you have the directions for the old Unicorn Gundam, or check out Dalong, and you can put together a beam magnum and a cool looking Banshee colored shield. So let's go straight to the best part, which is to see the mobile suit all put together, and I've got to say that he's looking pretty good, although the colors are not going to be completely natural. Remember, if you saw my unboxing, that what I did with this one is I took all of the yellow plates, which include the extra plates just for the Banshee, and I painted over them. The inner frame that was clear is now gold, and especially I put a few extra coats up on the most important parts that you're going to see under the neck and the V-fins, and I think that it really does add a lot of shine. But overall, I think the proportions are looking fantastic. He's certainly not as boring as the regular Unicorn Gundam, which is just going to have the shield and the original weapon, the beam magnum. I thought they looked fantastic until I saw the Banshee, where when he's got these additional weapons on either arm, it just brings him to life and it really looks cool. One thing that is disappointing is, similar to the Master Grade, you're going to have the black, but it's going to be very, very sparse. You're only going to see it on the feet and the backpack. You would see it more in Unicorn mode, but here in Destroy mode, it's pretty much just an afterthought. And here's a closer look at the colors. You can see that it's very much blue and not black there. And this is what you're going to be getting if you put on some paint. You'll notice that the inner frame should be the same color as all the parts there that are exposed on the head and neck area. For a real close-up here, you can just see how much detail goes into this V-fin / Banshee fin up there. One of the bigger problems, however, just being that you're going to have a seal there, which is going to look pretty ugly on the front of that part when you put it on there. However, you're not going to have any of the problems with the Master Grade of having to swap things on and off. In terms of height comparison, yes, Universal Century should be quite a bit bigger than most kits, but you can see here that in Destroy mode that this guy's going to be an absolute monster, hulked out in terms of height and width, especially compared to the Sparrow here, which is from high grade from Age. Generally a smaller kit, although this one has a height advantage over the normal and the Titus, and you just don't see it here. It just gives you an idea of how big the Banshee really is. The real grade Freedom is no slouch in the size department either, especially with that wingspan there in the back, but again, you can just see the size of the Unicorn line. Now this is more for color comparison than size comparison, but this is a CeraV Gundam that I painted up to sort of be like a CeraV 2 or a black CeraV, however you want to put it, and you can really see just the difference here between the black and the way that this is going to reflect the light compared to the blue in the plastic, especially when it's unpainted. However, the gold over there is still going to shine quite a bit. But finally, when it comes to comparing equals to equals, what do you think of these two side by side? With this one, you're going to have the traditional good guy colors with just the blue feet and the yellow up there in the V-fin, but you're going to have that fantastic red Psycho frame, which is popping out all over the place and really going to bring this guy to life. Whereas over here, and you're also going to have a little bit of a dull weapon over on that side, although it is made up for with a very cool shield, even though it's angled off to the side. Whereas in this case, I think that the gold inner frame is just going to get a little bit more lost. I think that the red is going to pop out more than the gold is over here. It would probably be even more difficult to see if this was left untouched, the inner frame. But where the Banshee is going to win is certainly, I'd say, in the arms department, the armored arms over there, and up there with its massive V-fin, which is going to open up, the unicorn horn, which is going to turn into that massive Banshee spread, and that is certainly going to take the cake, especially when you've got the gold compared to the plain old yellow, which is included in that kit. In terms of proportions comparison, here you've got the 1/100th Banshee on the right, and this one is not going to be painted, but you can just see that this, I think the HGUC does a fantastic job of getting the proportions just right. This one with the Unicorn Gundams, the legs can look a little bit too long and elongated, especially when they're hulked out. Whereas with this one, they just seem to be just right in terms of the upper body proportions compared to the height. The V-fins are going to look great, and one thing about this is that I think the weapons are just the right size, although as you'll see, you're not going to have the flexibility that you are going to be getting with the Master Grade, never mind the fact, of course, that this one doesn't transform whatsoever. Now just to show you a close-up comparison, remember this is the painted gold inner frame, whereas over here you're going to have it in its natural state. And up on the top, that's where you're especially going to notice the difference over here with the painted gold, which is going to come across as a little bit orange here when you're looking at it on camera, as opposed to this one, which does look a little bit plasticky. It's very Sangokuden, the yellow that's included in the Master Grade Banshee, but it actually is going to look pretty good when you open this up into Destroy Mode. So whichever your preference is, a $2 bottle of paint can certainly get one to the other. So to take a look at the weapons themselves, which are actually molded into the hand, you're not going to see any hand over here whatsoever with this armored armor. With this one, you're not going to have any articulation. Pretty much you're just going to have this, but you are going to have the bonuses of having some psycho frame exposed down there. And it's cool that you see it on the front and on the inside. I'm very impressed with the way Bandai is able to use small amounts of plastic to get big bang in terms of the payoff there. You do have a beam saber that's locked into the forearm there. This is the HGUC one, so don't expect a smooth swing. But with this one, it wouldn't come forward, it would just get in the way. You're going to have good articulation, you can bang into the body there ever so slightly, but so far I haven't detected the first hint of weight problems with this one. But over to the Angry Claw, which looks so good as it was deployed at the end of episode 4 of the OVA. You can see that you're going to have two parts that are just going to clamp onto either side, and you are going to have a hand there on the inside. Now with this one, if you do want to use the beam saber, you can see that you can rock that forward and put in a beam saber there. And then down over below, the big disappointment, however, is that this is going to be quite the opposite of the Master Grade, where I'd say in its natural position that this here is going to be at a very cool looking angle. You can see that the claws are just open, they're angry, and they're all ready to attack in a very cool looking pose. The only problem being is that these are not going to move at all whatsoever. The Master Grades are going to move up and down either side, and you can move these claws around. With this one, you're just going to be stuck in this pose. Admittedly, though, it's a good one. While the proportions are great, I'd say that the posability of the HGUC Unicorn line has never been something worth writing home about here, but you can see that the weapons are going to look good no matter which side you put them off, although you're going to have to be careful to get those ankles in a pose better than the one that I've got them awkwardly in at the moment. One thing that you'll notice, the first thing, is that when you've got this weapon here, you're not going to see any hands there on the inside. You really shouldn't expect too much out of those ankles, which is why the upper body pose is going to be a little bit awkward. This one, again, no weight problems at all, having it up in the air, and this claw coming forward. Again, it's at a cool angle, but it's just not going to look quite as impressive as the Master Grade 1 can with all of its various posing options. If you're going for standard leg poses, you're not going to have too many problems, and if you do bring both weapons forward, they are going to look pretty good. And this being a newer HGUC kit, of course it's going to work with Action Base 2. This is just a borrowed one here from the Nobel Gundam. Still going to work either way. Though the legs do look a little bit awkward, and he is pretty cool when he has his angry arms stabbing forward, and that smart gun on the other side is looking better and better in my eyes, especially with those little color details at the ends. Now it's time to take a look at my final verdict, and I was a big fan of the HGUC Unicorn Gundam Destroy Mode when it first came out, especially compared to the Master Grade with the MG getting the first release. The transformation, I've never been a fan of the MG, and that's just me. With the HG, some people may say cash grab, the fact that they're telling you to buy two of them in Unicorn and Destroy Mode. But for me, that's something I've been happy with from day one, especially since I only want the one mode anyway, so you're saving a little bit of money. So what do you get for this one in terms of 1,800 yen? I'd say that you're getting a ton considering the price of the original. With this one, you're getting all the original plates. You can do the extra shield, the extra beam magnum, but with this one, you're going to be getting all the bonuses of the additional parts up there for the upper body and for those special V-fins to go along with the armored armors, and I have to say that this guy is a lot of fun to put together. Now, one thing is that you're going to be a little bit robbed by this review just by the fact that you're not going to be getting a picture of it right out of the box. I'm a big fan of the gold. It does come across as a little bit orange, but I'm still quite happy with it. The Master Grade yellow I was not happy with when I first saw it, but once you actually put it together in Destroy Mode, I'm now happy with it, so I think you could go either way with paint or unpainting. You are going to lose the ability to put this under blacklight, but so far, I'm quite happy with it. With the Master Grade, I did have a little bit of weight issues. With the High Grade, none whatsoever. But the one thing that I do have to warn you all about is, yes, the old famous broken V-fin. Hopefully you didn't see it anywhere in the review, but it is broken and just glued back together, so hopefully a replacement will come for that soon. But in the meantime, everybody be careful that you don't break off these little pieces, especially those beam sabers in the back. I've seen that done by too many people too many times. So be careful with that. But overall, I'm going to recommend, even though it is just a recolor and I'm not crazy about the blue, the black I think would be a lot more fun. I would say that this is a lot of fun just thanks to the fact that it's a solid build, fun to put together, it's got a decent inner frame for a high-grade Universal Century, and it's got enough differences to really set it apart, and with Episode 5 on the horizon, I think having these two on your shelf is certainly a way to go. So what about the future? We've already got two Master Grades, with one being an online exclusive and the other one just being the regular retail one. But could we be getting an SD Gundam version of this? You'd think it would just be a pretty straight recolor, although again they'd have to add a few extra plates for the weapons, and that could be prohibitively expensive from Bandai's perspective, and they just don't see the sales. However, you could always just go and paint up your own. A full armor one of this would be pretty nice too. There's always been speculation of a perfect grade unicorn. This one is certainly one of the most popular Gundams, as you may have seen from the Gundam World Cup, where this guy went all the way to the final. New fans, old fans, everybody likes UC, and Unicorn is no exception. So if we did get a perfect grade, it would be great. Expensive, especially if they do go with a light-up inner frame, but similar to the Mark II, where you can do it in 2 colors, now Bandai has the option of doing this one in white and blue as well, and I think they could make some money with it. Although, as we've seen with most reports from Bandai, it's probably still just a dream. Anyway, everybody, why don't you let me know what other versions of the Banshee would you like to see? Are you happy with this one? How is the HGUC one in Unicorn mode? If somebody lets me know, that would be greatly appreciated. Do you prefer the high grade to the master grade? That's always a good question. And as always, please let me know what you think with the comment down below about the review itself. Anyway, everybody, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for lots of news, reviews, and everything in between. See you next time, everybody. Bye. If I bore your black shield and beam magnum, I'm halfway to full armor HGUC. Seriously, I'm an SD and I transform, and you're forgiving this HG for not?